Right guys, hello, another video for you. What we have here is my LG C2 OLED television. Had it well over a year. I put more hours into this TV than many people would because I double bubble it. I use it as a PC monitor as well as a TV to watch movies and TV shows. So I wanted to share my thoughts and experiences to help people out thinking of buying one. We'll do timestamps to break the video down into chapters to help you find what you want to see. So what we'll start with is, though we're coming to the end of 2023 and the C3 model has come out to replace the C2 and the C3s are starting to reduce in price, you can still buy C2s new. We've got Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up very, very soon. I think you're going to have people in the position thinking, well, I can buy a 48-inch C2. It's cheaper than a 42-inch C3. Clearly getting the bigger C2 would make more sense. So to those people, I'll say it really depends how you use your TV. If you just watch TV over the aerial or satellite and you watch stuff on Disney Plus, Netflix, streaming services like that, and that is all you will ever do, you probably won't notice too much difference between the C2 and the C3 models. If you are really into movies and you've got a nice Blu-ray collection, or you think you might hook up a 4K Blu-ray player later, you need to be aware the C2 does not understand what DTS audio tracks are, digital theatre sound. It's a shame because that's a pretty common audio track used on DVDs and Blu-rays. So this has caught quite a few people out. Now there's a way around it. When you plug your Blu-ray player into the TV, in its settings you can tell it to output a PCM audio signal, which the C2 TV will understand. If you've got a soundbar or you're thinking of buying a soundbar, choose one that supports DTS and has a HDMI input so the Blu-ray player can plug into your soundbar, or if you're going to get an AVR that supports DTS, you can plug your Blu-ray player into the AVR and do all the surround sound through the AVR. But the C3 does support DTS, so it's just something to be aware of. Some people like the Sonos soundbars. They are quite expensive and they also don't have a HDMI input, so you would be pretty stuffed if you bought the C2 and you're running the Sonos soundbar. You would just have to have the PCM audio signal sent out. Right, so let's start talking about image quality. I think that's what most people care about when it comes to OLEDs. Of course, the blacks are an inky black. That's because it's an OLED rather than being an LED or an LCD TV where there's a backlight always shining that makes the blacks look grey. With the OLED, the image is made up of lots of dots, pixels. So if a pixel doesn't need to be on to make an image, it is off, hence why we get it so black. What you need to be aware of is that the screen is quite glossy, and that inky black effectively becomes like a mirror. Depending where the TV is in the room and where your window is, you can get reflections off the screen. That's the thing. So having good curtains, good blackout blinds can help for daytime viewing. In the evenings, nighttime, in the dark, the picture quality is outstanding. Everybody that's seen this TV thinks it looks sublime. So the other thing people worry about is image retention, screen burn-in. If you're not too sure what that is, it's basically having a static image left on the screen for too long that the name implies it gets burnt in. So all of these thumbnails, those images, I'm trying to watch TV, but a remnant of them remains and it ruins the picture. Don't worry about it. I haven't had this issue. I've had the TV on for hours and hours and hours with static images. I actually have a Sinden light gun. So that has a camera in the barrel of the gun, and for it to work in the games, there's a white border that goes round the outside edge, bright white border. That camera can see the border and knows where I'm aiming inside the box, and you can see right out to the edges it's all uniform. I haven't got a clearly visible border around the outside edge where I've been playing those games for hours on end. It's all good. What you do need to be aware is that you don't want to turn the TV off at the wall. If you leave it on standby, it's going to do pixel refresh, screen cleaning, whatever they want to call it, but there's technologies that are running whilst it's on standby to help the health of the panel. What you might find, if you've been watching the TV for say 4 hours straight, you turn it off, quickly turn it back on again, it just gives you a notification saying it would like to run a pixel refresh. Now you don't have to do it. You can ignore it and just watch your TV show and let it go back into standby. It will do it for you later. But that caught some people out. They found it a little bit annoying. It all depends on your TV watching habits. I think it's 4 hours or more straight viewing that it will just want to do a quick pixel refresh. So let's start talking about the sound. I'm just going to hold down the cog button on the remote and get us to the sound settings. So you can see select mode. The TV speakers out of the box on the C2 do not sound particularly good. We've got some different modes, so the Clear Voice Pro is a little bit better, but what we really want to do, and what I suggest you do as soon as you get it out of the box, is go into AI Service, enable AI Sound Pro, and then do the acoustic tuning. So sit in your main listening position where you watch the TV, keep very quiet and start a new sound tuning. There's a microphone in the remote, so keep that in your hand, and it takes about 8 seconds, but the sounds that Mike hears from the TV, it uses to calibrate the speakers to suit your room. You can then go into the acoustic tuning options, boost the bass or treble to your preference. But just on standard, just for the AI Sound Pro mode, it really does make a much better, well-rounded sound from the TV speakers. I pretty much consider that a must-do if you're just going to use the TV speakers. So if we go back into sound, we'll go through the sound output options. So we can use the TV speaker, we can use a wired speaker, so whether that's optical output, sometimes called Toslink. Some people connect up an amp or an AVR that way if it's an old school one. Maybe you've got some wireless headphones and they have a transmitter receiver box that takes the optical connection. We've got HDMI there if you're hooking up sound bars and AVRs. We can even do wired headphones. We've also got support for wireless speakers, so we can have at least 2 Bluetooth headphones connected. You've also got people that have hearing aids that have the Bluetooth capability as well, so that's kind of cool. We can get those synced up to the TV. What's even cooler is we can use external speakers along with the TV speaker. So whether that's your headphones that you've connected through optical out, or you're going to do it through Bluetooth. So if grandma can't hear the TV very well, you can give her a pair of Bluetooth headphones so she can enjoy the movie. Everybody else in the room is hearing the sound from the TV speakers. Everybody can hear what's going on. Of course, we've got the wired headphones as well as TV speakers as an option too. So that's quite a nice option. What we're going to do next, let's just quickly have a look at the like the family settings. So you can limit the usage, prevent the amount of blue light that can be quite harmful in your eyes. So to get the TVs, for them to be really bright, they tend to lean on the blue side of the spectrum, but that can be quite nasty on your eyes. Some people like to turn that off. We can also go into system and safety, and if we enable this function, so the default password is going to be 4 zeros. We can lock certain TV channels if they have a rating, if we don't want children to be able to watch them. We can lock certain inputs, so you could prevent them from using a game console hooked in or loading up a Blu-ray if you want to lock those HDMI ports. You can even lock applications as well. So if you want to prevent them plugging in a memory stick to the USB port and watching movies that way, we can go down and block the media player. So it's impossible for the USB port to be used to play films. You can lock all of the apps if you want, and then in order for them to load, you have to put in your PIN. So that's not something I'm too bothered about, but I know other people are. All right, let's go into the main dashboard. Push the house button on the remote. We'll go into the home dashboard. So you can see it's showing me the last input that I had. We've got LG channels there, so that's free to view TV. It's perfectly legal. There's a few channels you won't get on your normal TV. The picture quality isn't particularly good. I very, very rarely use it, but it is an option. We've got 4 HDMI ports, all HDMI 2.1. So those of you that are gamers, you've got your PlayStation 5s, your Xboxes, you can get your 4K 120 Hertz refresh rate, so that's nice. HDMI 2 is the eARC port, Enhanced Audio Return Channel. So that means not only can it take audio and video in through that HDMI port, but it can also send audio back out. So if you've got a soundbar or an AVR, HDMI 2 is where you want to plug it in. So you can see I've got an AVR there, but I've also got the Shield TV Pro. Now that's plugged into my AVR, and that's why I've got 2 devices under HDMI. I can toggle these. I can have a Blu-ray player into the AVR. I can have a games console, whatever plugged into the AVR, and easily choose them through the TV. So I'm doing this to get around that lack of DTS support on the C2. You see I've got my PC hooked up to HDMI port number 4, and we can go up to the top where the 3 dots are, and we can edit the input. So you can name them. I can call HDMI 3, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, whatever, call HDMI 4, PC as I've done, so people know what's connected to which HDMI port quite easily. As we move across, you can see it's picked up on my phone, my Pixel, so I can access the photos and videos that I've got stored on my phone through the TV. We've got AirPlay there as well for those of you that have Apple devices. It's picked up on some media servers. Now some of you won't use this, but we'll just mention it anyway. So I've got a Plex media server running that's got videos, it's got movies, TV shows, music that I can access through the TV. I've got a HD Home Run media server as well, so that's the TV tuner. TV aerial goes into this little box, the HD Home Run, that plugs into my Wi-Fi router, so anything on my network gets access to the TV channels. It's super useful. I can go out in the garden, watch TV channels on the phone or laptop, but even this TV, I could go put it out in the garden, provided I can run power out to it, it will pick up the TV channels. So I can select it. Do I want to browse from this device? We'll go to channels. So there's BBC Two. And this is all done over the network thanks to that HD Home Run. It's pretty cool. So we can go back. Yes, we want to exit. So let's go back into the dashboard. So I've got another media server, RTAX86U. That's my Wi-Fi router. It's got a hard drive plugged into it. So that's got movies, TV shows, music on it. I can access that directly as well through the TV. So we've got some other options there for like Bluetooth and remote PC, TV speaker. It's also picked up on my Philips Hue light bulbs, that ecosystem I have in the house. I don't know why I need to turn them on or off from the TV, but the option is there. I have no experience with using cameras. I know some people have the doorbells with a camera in them. I don't know whether that works with the TV, whether you get a preview of who's at the door. I don't know. I can tell you that there are apps on your phone to work as a TV remote, and that does work quite well. It also integrates with Google Home. So when I first had the TV, all Google Home would let me do is turn the TV on and off. Since then, there have been updates. I can now pick different sources, load apps through it as well, all kinds of stuff. It's a much more useful remote in the Google Home service. So that's good to know. Let's go back. Let's start talking about the apps. So you see we've got Disney Plus there, Netflix, Prime Video, TV catch-up apps. We've got GeForce Now there, so that's instead of streaming TV shows and movies, you can basically turn the TV into a gaming console. We've got Bluetooth support, so you can pair a gamepad to the TV. So that's a nice option to have. For many of you, I think you'd be perfectly happy with what it is. For some of you that are a bit more hardcore and into your movies and your home networking, you might use Plex. You just need to be aware that this built-in app on the TV doesn't support lossless audio, which is a bit of a shame. So if I try to open 1917, it's telling me this is what I've backed up. I've got it on my network. It's a 4K high dynamic range, so it should be a good picture. The audio is 7.1 True HD Dolby Atmos. This is lossless audio. So as I go to resume it and play the movie, now we might get a slight pause whilst it does refresh matching. So if it's 24 frames per second the movie, it's matching the screen to that. I get a little ticker up in the corner saying HDR, but no tickers come up to tell me that it's using Dolby Atmos because it doesn't support that lossless audio. My media server ends up transcoding, converting it to something that the TV can play. So that's not ideal. However, if I try to play Alien tells me it's also 4K high dynamic range, but this is DTS HD. This is lossless DTS, and we know that the TV doesn't support DTS, and yet Plex knows this, so it will do that transcoding, and I've got sound. It's not DTS, it's converting it to a format that the TV understands and can natively play. So yeah, double-edged sword really. It helps, but it doesn't. So what I've ended up doing is attaching a Shield TV. So if I go to my sources, HDMI 2, we've got the Shield TV Pro. So this is now giving me the Android TV interface. I don't really like the web OS that comes with the TV. I can't install apps like Kodi, which is a media player, which is a shame. I like to use that. So if you're trying to watch movies you've backed up, you can tell Kodi, my TV doesn't support DTS, and then it will do that transcoding we've just talked about. Having a Plex media server, you can get the Shield TV to do that. You can plug a hard drive into it, put your movies, TV shows on there, set it up as a server. This is largely free to use, and you can have an app on your phone. You can watch your TV shows and record your TV. If you've got the Plex Pass, you pay for that. You can watch your TV shows on your lunch break at work using your phone, using the internet to send it from your house to wherever you are if you're away on holiday. It is kind of cool. So if you're picking up the TV reduced in the sales, check to see if a Shield TV Pro is also on sale, because having the two together really does give the best experience. So let's just do the same test. I'm going to use Plex but on the Shield TV. So as I go to play 1917, exactly the same file, but now I'm going to get the HDR ticker come up. There we go. And then it will say Dolby Atmos, because this app actually supports that lossless audio. So that's helpful. So the other thing to understand is, yeah, okay, the TV supports Dolby Atmos, but just because it says Dolby Atmos, that doesn't mean you're necessarily getting the best sounds. I'm still restricted by the TV speakers. The Dolby Atmos technology is trying to do the best it can with the fact that I've only got the TV speakers, but you're really going to want a nice soundbar or an AVR to make the most of it. So let's move over to HDMI 4, which is my PC. So I'm not going to have to wait this up. It's gone to sleep. So to be perfectly honest with you, my PC, the graphics card is quite old. It's a 1080 Ti. It doesn't have the HDMI 2.1, so I can't get 4K 120 Hertz through it. Okay, I still get a 4K desktop. You can adjust the scaling in Windows to increase the text size to make it usable. I've got 42-inch specifically to use as a monitor. Going 48 or larger would have been too much sat at a desk. When I'm playing games, I tend to set them to 1440p. It's not as sharp as 4K obviously, but it will let me get higher than 60 frames per second. So for some competitive games, you really want to, really push those frame rates, get them as high as possible. So doing 120 frames per second really does help with input latency. So I can always upgrade my graphics card later, and then I can make more of the panel itself. But it was a choice, do I get a nice TV? Do I change the graphics card? I opted to improve the TV, have a nice monitor, and worry about the graphics card later. So we'll leave the video there. Hopefully it's helped you out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try and reply best I can. Have a great day, have a great evening, whatever it is you choose to do after watching this. And as always, I'll see you when I see you next. Ciao for now.